Of offense, you've come to the right place. Let's take a look at our starting lineups brought to you by State Farm. Get to a better state, State Farm. For Todd Kowalczyk at Toledo, the question is, can they find a third offensive weapon to team up with Ryan Pearson, the max leading scorer, and Julius Brown? Dominique Buckley could shoot it well from beyond the arc. Let's flip it over and take a look at the Mac Perfect at 3-0 Ohio Bobcats. Todd Kowalczyk, of course, in his third season as the head coach of the Toledo Rockets, and a basketball team that plays well on the road. They'll need it tonight. As DJ Cooper, as we said, a Bob Cousy Award and John Wooden Award finalist. He's on both of those watch lists. Nick Kellogg, Walter Alford, as we know, can shoot the basketball with range, and Ivo Baltic and John Smith, Reggie Keeley getting the call tonight. Jim Christian, 12 up, 5 down. He's done a marvelous job coming back to the MAC after his, of course, 6 ultra-successful years at Kent State.
Well, the Bobcats are hitting their stride right now, I think, Michael. They're scoring at a high production rate. They're really taking care of the basketball. More importantly, they're shooting the ball a lot better here in the last 4 or 5 games. So they're riding high. I like the matchup here tonight. I think Toledo gives them something that they haven't seen yet, and we'll find out here this evening.
Toledo's Rockets in the midnight blue and gold. Of course, the Ohio Bobcats in their home white. Settle back and enjoy it. Time for us to get you to the hoop all night long right here out of Athens in the Convo on Sports Time, Ohio. Toledo coming off a road loss, their first of the year in MAC play to Western Michigan at Kalamazoo on Wednesday night when, as Todd Kowalczyk told us, they did not play well. How about that? That's Nathan Booth. He's a true freshman, ringing the bell, the 6'9" shooter out of Illinois.
You asked who I thought might come the third person in this lineup for Toledo. I think Nathan Booth, the freshman, as you mentioned, true freshman. We're really high on that young man right now.
He's been playing very, very well, averaging better than 8 a game. Walter Alford to tee up that 3. But look at Ivo Baltic, the high riser out of Kansas City, with that putback flush.
Well, that's what you want with the big fella. You can just see pace of play already. Toledo going to get into their sets. They run a tremendous amount of sets. And I think it's something we'll kind of, as this game unfolds, we'll talk about a little bit more.
Nathan Booth, he slipped that screen. He's got his second bucket here within the first minute and 10 seconds of play.
And one thing to watch is Julius Brown. He's one of the good lead guards in this conference. He can handle that ball screen as about as good as anybody in this conference.
Baltic will face up. That's a pretty dish. And Reggie Keeley, who crushes it with the right hand. So a couple of smash jobs early on at the offensive end for Ohio.
Well, if you wonder why their percentage is high, the Ohio Bobcats get it close to the basket. They got 2 already in the early going.
This is Dominique Buckley. The first touch tonight for Ryan Pearson. And look at that pure left-handed stroke off that baseline right. The max leading point producer at better than 19 a game.
Well, what the Rockets love about him right now is he's also getting to the free throw line a lot. And they're going to need that this evening.
Pearson has followed up his max first team performance from a year ago with more of the same this year. Silky smooth, 6'4" athlete. That's Walter Alford, who'll sight and stick that 3. Both ball clubs out on fire offensively.
Toledo's showing a little bit of matchup. Some switching on the perimeter. Again, Cooper and Julius Brown, that's the matchup a lot of people are watching right now. It'll be interesting to see if that lasts. I'm sure it's going to be by committee this evening.
And here is Julius Brown. That good-looking 3 came up front rim into the hands of Ivo Baltic. Now DJ Cooper will tell you as this night goes on how he can start to do some things that no other in college basketball has done. Walter Alford feeling it as he strokes that 3 out of that left baseline.
Well, no matter what defense you're in this evening, you better find where the shooter's at for the Bobcats. One of them, Walter Alford. He can drill them. You got to make sure you know where he's at.
Ohio starting perfect from the floor offensively. Ryan Pearson off the step back. That's a tough jumper. Matt Smith all over the offensive glass on the Toledo cleanup. With that assist from DJ Cooper. Now 21st on the all-time college basketball assist list. Off it again. He'll step into that first triple miss of the night. Walter Alford has had 3 clean looks early.
Absolutely, and that matchup, they got to make sure. Anytime you're in the zone, you got to really have good eye contact to where the shooters are.
This is Dominique Buckley that got shut off. Toledo has shown, though, first of all, they played very well on the road this year. They've only played 4 home games, and most proficient offensively. The up and under from Julius Juice Brown, young fella getting that done and showing you all the flavor in his offensive game.
Well, we talked about Julius Brown, of course, but when you really think about the keys to this game, Michael, a lot of things going on the court right now. Let me get to these keys, though, just so we know where we're at. Toledo, you got to take away the costly turnovers. You can't have them. And where's Cooper? At all times on the floor, DJ Cooper can push it in transition, really make things happen. You got to know where he's at. For Ohio, transition baskets. They got to get that pace up for them to be successful. Their defense will help them do that. And you got to trust your system, Michael. Defensively, you can't guard everything Toledo goes.
Just had a technical foul called on Ryan Pearson as you were going through your keys, the Toledo sharpshooter.
Again, that was a quick little whistle we saw there. They got kind of tangled up underneath the basket there, Michael. I'm sure we're going to get that sorted out, but DJ Cooper missed that one there, I believe.
Technical fouls constitute 2 shots in the college game as DJ Cooper will look to split the pair here. And Cooper will do that. We've been told this year that game officiating crews, they're looking for one of the areas is contact up above the shoulder level, even when players are running back up and down the floor after makes. They're going to be watching for it.
Yes, you know, at the beginning of the year, they always put about 3 things out there that they're going to emphasize, and that one, exactly, Michael, that's one of them. They're really watching very closely. A lot of it's safety, as well as just kids. You know, the swagger on the court. It's good to have swagger, but you got to be careful what you do with your arms and your elbows.
Got to be aggressive, and got to play the game with a certain swerve, but yeah, there's a fine line there. Both ball clubs shooting it very, very well here in the early going. Delighted you're with us at Convocation Center on Sports Time Ohio. Shot clock at 3. That's Reggie Keeley with power going to work off that glass.
Nice little move there by Wateroff and along the baseline. The ability to find the open guy. That's what Ohio does well.
Julius Brown beat that double team and then misfired on a face-up jumper. Nick Kellogg lost the basketball. Pearson will attack the goal. The MAC's leading point producer, Ryan Pearson. Isn't he smooth in the open floor?
And don't think the Rockets won't be selective in transition. If it's there, they will take it. And again, Michael, this matchup zone contains dribblers. And when you think about what Ohio has in DJ Cooper and even Nick Kellogg, it contains them a little bit. But you got to know where you're at and the shooters on the floor.
Ball tick off the show and go. How pretty was that? He head faked that look to Nick Kellogg, put it on the deck, and got the teardrop to fall.
Eagle Ball Tech improves each and every day, according to Jim Christian.
Eagle Ball Tech, Reggie Keeley, now seniors. This, of course, as you know, a very experienced, upper-class, dominant Ohio Bobcat squad. And this is just a true freshman. Nathan Booth didn't get that to fall, and last touch was Ryan Pearson. Pearson and DJ Cooper just came together again. But Nathan Booth has hit a couple of hoops in the early go for Toledo. And Julius Brown showing you his illustrious bag of tricks. Reggie Keeley on the offensive end. Ohio with a 3-point advantage.